morning, I'm Dani Laurel. It is Wednesday, the first day of April, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. First on the agenda, President Bongbong Marcos has directed the Department of Foreign Affairs to initiate high-level talks with Iran. This is to ensure the safe passage of Philippine-bound oil tankers and other ships through the Strait of Hormuz. DFA Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro is expected to meet with Iranian Ambassador to Manila Youssef Esmail Zadeh. That's as early as this week or next.
Karoon din po ng meeting ang Uplift at yan po ay ipinag-utos na po ng Pangulo kay Secretary Tez Lazaro at ayon po kay Secretary Tez Lazaro ng DFA, makikipag-usap po siya sa Ambassador ng Iran.
Meanwhile, several Asian nations have already obtained clearances from Tehran for their oil shipments. Malaysia's Transport Minister Anthony Loke announced that Malaysian tankers will not only be permitted to transit the Strait of Hormuz, but will be allowed to do so toll-free. Thailand and Pakistan have likewise secured similar agreements with Iran over the weekend. Now, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the next few days in the war against Iran will be decisive as Washington pushes Tehran to make a deal. He added that the U.S. is prepared to escalate military action if Iran refuses to comply. Iran, meanwhile, has threatened to target major U.S. companies in the region in retaliation for attacks, while tensions in the Gulf continue to disrupt global energy supplies. Oil prices surged after an Iranian strike hit a tanker off Dubai, although prices later eased on reports that Tehran may be open to ending the conflict. China and Pakistan are now calling for an immediate ceasefire as international efforts to de-escalate the war continue. With oil prices continuing to rise, lawmakers are rolling out measures to strengthen food security and ensure aid reaches the most vulnerable. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza with this report.
Senator Kiko Pangilinan, chairman of the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform, announced the creation of an Agri-Agra task force. This team includes representatives from the Department of Agriculture, Department of Agrarian Reform, Congress, and local government units. Their goal is to mitigate the impact of international conflicts on the country's food security as well as to strengthen rural development.
Bumuo ng isang ad hoc committee, crisis committee, ang Agri-Agra team para bantayan itong magiging tulong, suporta, ayuda, assistance sa ating food security concerns.
Pangilinan also expressed support for the proposed 52 billion peso supplemental budget of Senator Risa Hontiveros for farmers, fishers, the transport sector, and OFWs. Meanwhile, Senator Bam Aquino is calling for a price freeze not only on basic goods but also on diesel and gasoline.
Kapag panahon ng emergency, mahalaga na yung taong bayan, makita nila na umaaksyon yung gobyerno at natitigil yung pagtaas ng presyo ng bilihin.
For Senator Amy Marcos, people's finances should be given some relief during this trying time. Her proposal, suspension of payments and a loan moratorium for SSS, GSIS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth. According to the senator, workers should get their full salaries while the crisis is ongoing. She garnered support from Senator Joel Villanueva for one. However, Senator Villanueva says there should be clear guidelines so people won't be surprised by interest rates and other payments after the moratorium. Senator Jinggoy Estrada pitched a pandemic-style assistance measure for the public. Estrada wants to bring back the no disconnection policy for water and electricity, plus flexible payments to ease the burden on families. He also encourages a work-from-home setup to save on travel costs. Over at the lower house, some congressmen are also pushing for the reintroduction of the Bayanihan Law amid the oil crisis. According to House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Miro Kimbo, Bayanihan 3 aims to alleviate the effects of high oil prices on transportation fares, the cost of goods, and livelihoods. The proposal includes funding for aid programs for low-income households. The House will first plan who will receive the aid, how it will be distributed, and how much funding can be allocated for it. Long-term responses to crisis will also be introduced.
Alam niyo po, 95% ay nag-i-import po tayo. Very dependent tayo sa petroleum products. Kaya dapat may mga alternatives tayo. Ito yung isa pa po ito, nabanggit ko nga sa ating Pangulo, ang compressed natural gas. Isa pong malaking reserve din ng ating lalawigan, compressed natural gas. Diyan po sa area ng Santiago, San Isidro at Itiague. Paano meron tayong mga ibang mga alternatibo na hindi lamang tayo umaasa sa produkto ng oil na nanggagaling po sa Middle East.
13 committees are scheduled to meet on April 8 to discuss solutions to the oil crisis.
Holy Week activities are underway over at Luneta, including an interactive Stations of the Cross in Cenaculo. We go live now to Rizal Park in Manila with Mobile Journal Ray Vicente. Ray, what is the situation dyan sa Luneta?
Dani, magandang umaga. Ngayon nga ginugunita natin yung Semana Santa, Holy Wednesday to be exact, no? Baka meron tayong sa mga ating kapatid na ayaw nang lumayo, pero gusto pa rin syempre maramdaman yung presensya ng Holy Week, pati ng Panginoon. Kasi nga, Dani, dito nga sa Rizal Park, sa Luneta, particularly sa kanlungan ng Sining, ay meron tayong tinatawag na Station of the Cross. Ipasok ko kayo sa loob, no? Bigyan ko kayo ng walkthrough. Eto dito, merong mga cross, pati syempre meron silang kumbaga pabasa. Pero syempre, ang unang maaabutan, facilitator, para i-guide yung mga ating kapatid kung sakaling meron silang katanungan kung ano-ano ba yung mga aktibidad na meron dito, Dani. Kasi overall, Dani, meron tayong 14 na cross, no? So 14 activities. So sa una, actually doon yung pinakauna eh. Pero dito makikita mo muna yung panimulang panalangin para sa ating mga kapatid at kung saan magbabasa sila, kung ano yung mga pwede na rin nilang request sa buhay, ano. So dito naman, Dani, bilisan lang natin kaunti, ano, yung mismong pagbasa. Ayan, yung mismong ang banal na hapunan. Pero Dani, kung gusto ng mga aking kapatid na talagang mas maramdaman yung presensya ng Panginoon, kung gusto nila lumuhod, actually meron tayo dito, pakita natin, na parang prayer pad, katulad sa mga Katolikong church, ano. So dyan, yung mula sa prayer mo dun sa activity 1, sa pinunta natin kanina, pwede mo ring ilagay dito sa ballot box kung makikita natin, Dani. Tapos pwede mo rin syempre, maliban sa pagbabasa, sabihin yung mga prayers mo ngayong Holy Week, no? So puntahan naman natin yung iba't ibang stasyon pa dito. Eto, Dani, yung Station 3, medyo malayo lang yung pagitan, pero overall naman nung nilibot ko, Dani, mapupuntahan naman siya kasi dito naman sa Rizal Park, may mahangin naman, kaya hindi naman ganun kainit. So dito, Dani, maliban sa pabasa, meron din tayo mga words of encouragement. Kung makikita nyo, may salamin dito, nakalagay mga words of encouragement sa ating mga kapatid na pupunta, at pwede rin naman mag-picture dyan, kaya rin merong tinayo na mirror. Dani, gusto ko lang din ipakita, kasi nabanggit ko na rin yung words of encouragement, ano, dahil dito kasi meron tayong tinatawag na encouragement wall mismo kung saan pwedeng magsulat yung mga ating kapatid mismo ng kanilang mga quotes or kung ano man yung nais silang sabihin sa kanilang buhay, kanilang panalangin, or yung pwede nilang inspirasyon talaga sa ibang tao. Ayan, kung makikita nyo. Ayan. Tapos dito rin meron syempreng panalangin or pabasa na kasama. So overall, Dan, hindi ko mapakita yung buong 14 na Stations of the Cross kasi medyo malayo agwat, pero kaya-kaya naman lakaran. May iba't ibang activity kada Station of the Cross, pero hindi mawawala dyan yung pabasa. At syempre, para sa mga ating kapatid, Dani, na gusto pumunta rito, bukas na siya mula pa nung Monday, Holy Monday hanggang sa Easter Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Dani.
All right, very nice, no? So libre pa for everyone that, baka walang plano this Holy Week, they can go over to Luneta Park. Thank you so much, Mobile Journal Ray Vicente. Meanwhile, more devotees are expected to visit churches today, Holy Wednesday, as they observe various traditions for Holy Week. For a situationer in the Minor Basilica and National Shrine of Jesus Nazareno over in Manila, we bring in Mobile Journal, Jazz Paredes. Marami na bang nagsisimba dyan?
Yes, Dani, no. Ngayong umaga ay nagsimula na nga yung 8 a.m. Mass natin dito sa Minor Basilica and National Shrine of Jesus Nazareno. Kaninang 6 a.m. Mass, tumagal ito hanggang pasado alas 7, ay nakita nga natin na halos mapuno yung Minor Basilica of Jesus Nazareno at dahil nga nagsisimula na rin dumating ang mga deboto. Pero nagtanong-tanong tayo, Dani, kanina, no, kung ito bang dami ng tao kanina, ito na ba yung peak? At ang sagot sa atin kanina ay posible daw na mas dumami pa ito mamayang hapon doon sa 5 p.m. Mass. Dahil nga ito yung simula nung pag-uwi galing sa trabaho ng ilan sa mga kababayan natin na deboto dito. At bukod dyan, Dani, no, ang ilan sa mga nakausap natin kanina nanggaling pa sa malalayong probinsya at pumunta pa dito. Ang iba galing pang Bicol, Bulacan, Cavite. At simula 6 a.m. ay nagpunta na talaga sila dito para lamang makapakinig sa misa. At ayon sa kanila ay aaraw-arawing daw nila ang pagbisita dito sa Quiapo Church hanggang sa linggo ng pagkabuhay dahil ito daw yung kanilang panata. At ito nga, may makakausap tayo sa isa sa mga deboto dito sa Quiapo Church. Hello po, sir. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Kayo po ba, sir, ay deboto rin po na matagal na rin po nagsisimba dito sa Quiapo Church? Gaano katagal na rin po siguro, sir?
Matagal na po.
Matagal na, sir. Ano po ba yung wish natin kapag simba, sir?
Sana po, ngayon po wish natin. Sana gumabay ng mga debot. Sana lahat ng mga kasama natin ay parang ngayon po nagdidinis po sila. Nag-flashing po sila para pagdating ng mga anak-anak. Kaya ilalabas natin ang buko ng sarili.
Simula anong oras pa po kayo nagsimba, sir?
Kanina po na alas 2.
Alas 2 pa po. Bakit po ganun kaaga, sir?
Ngayon lang po kasi may kumpisalang bayan po.
May kumpisa lang bayan. Ano yan, sir? Araw-araw po kayo magsisilba ngayon hanggang linggo ng pagkabuhay.
Opo, araw-araw.
Araw-araw. Ito talaga yung panata niyo. Sir, maraming salamat po, sir. Ayan nga, Dani, no? Nakausap natin si sir na isa daw sa mga matagal lang deboto dito sa Quiapo Church. At kung makikita niyo sa aking likuran, ongoing na nga yung misa. Medyo lumayo lang tayo, Dani, no? Pero sa ngayon, ito daw yung mga misa na aasahan natin mamaya. Kanina natapos na yung 5 a.m., 6 a.m. at 7 a.m. Mass. Habang ngayon, ongoing naman yung ating 8 a.m. Mass. Meron din tayo mamayang alas 9 ng umaga, alas 10. At magkakaroon lamang ng saglit na break at magtutuloy ng 12:15 ng tanghali. Susunod niyan ay 5 p.m. at 6 p.m. At Dani, no, isa sa inaabangan natin mamayang 7 p.m. particular, no, yung pagtatanghal ng sinakulo na hatid daw ng Parish Youth Ministry. So dito yan gaganapin sa Plaza Miranda.
Kaya po namin po yung
Yes po, ayan o. Mamayang gabi daw itong pagtatanghal. So abangan daw natin yan, Dani. Yan muna ang latest dito sa Quiapo Church, Dani.
Jess, anong oras yung sinakulo?
7 p.m. daw siya, Dani.
7 p.m. Alright, so 7 p.m. at the Minor Basilica over in Quiapo. Maganda siguro yan. Maraming salamat, Mobile Journal, Jazz Paredes. Don't go away. We will be back with more stories after this short break. Good morning, I'm Dani Laurel, and here on Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines expects a surge in Holy Week travelers, this despite rising fuel costs. CAAP projects up to a 10% increase in passenger volumes, or around 550,000 travelers higher than last year's 500,000. The agency says many Filipinos booked their flights months in advance before tensions in the Middle East drove up global oil prices. To help ease costs, CAAP has cut aeronautical fees by half and lowered passenger service charges, but fuel surcharges are set to rise to level 8 starting April. Meanwhile, CAAP assures the public that airports have enough backup fuel that's in case of power interruptions. And joining us now to discuss airport preparedness and travel outlook, we have CAAP Public Information Officer Ms. Bea Bernardo. Good morning, ma'am, and good to have you with us.
Hi, good morning, Dani. Thank you for having us.
Let's kick off with the Holy Week preparedness, no? As we just reported, ma'am, people are still traveling. People are still taking those flights. We saw the bus terminals very full. The church is still full. Can you tell us your thoughts on this and how prepared you were for this surge, especially given the backdrop that ang mahal-mahal yumahe ngayon and people are still doing this?
Yes, Dani, no, exactly. Nakikita nga natin na meron pa ring surge ng mga tao na pumupunta, lalo na sa mga paliparan. So most of them, tinuloy pa rin talaga nila yung kanilang plano na magbakasyon at magpahinga, lalo na kung local lang naman yung kanilang mga flights. So as mentioned nga, we are expecting a 7 to 10% increase sa passenger this year. That is 500,000 passengers for this year po. So, under o Plan Biyaheng Ayos Semana Santa 2026 na pinapatupad po natin from March 28 to April 5 po. Heightened alert na po yung ating mga airport. Ibig sabihin po niyan, mahigpit na security na po yung pinapatupad natin at meron din po tayong no-leave policy sa ating mga personnel on the ground. Kasi nga, we are expecting na people are na magkakaroon ng malaking volume ng tao sa mga airport, no? So, kailangan po nating ma-assist lahat yan. That's why no-leave policy muna po tayo sa CAAP until April 5 po.
Wow. So kayo pala kailangan magtrabaho pa rin during this Holy Week. Ma'am, what about after Holy Week? What is your expectation in terms of number of passengers? Is this going to drop rather dramatically because of the costs of flying?
Well, actually, ang nakikita nating sentiments ngayon sa social media ay may mga hesitant ng mga passengers or mga Pilipino na mag-travel because iba na yung priority nila dahil nga tumataas yung fuel natin o yung price ng fuel natin. So, yun lang pa lang naman yung nakikita nating sentiments. So far, hindi pa kasi siya nagre-reflect dun sa mga data natin. So, siguro towards the end of the week, dun natin makikita kung yung ilan pa sa ating mga kababayan ang hindi na tumuloy sa kanilang mga travel for Semana Santa, and siguro in a way makikita natin na magkakaroon yan ng change of trend dun sa travel dahil nga medyo nagtaas tayo ng presyo, no, because yung fuel charges nga natin ay tumaas. Pero kami naman sa CAAP, ang ginawa namin ay binawasan namin yung mga aeronautical fees and passenger service charge na sinisingil namin sa mga pasahero. So if you may, I'm just gonna discuss it more further, no?
Yes, please.
For aeronautical fees, yes, thank you. For aeronautical fees po, ito naman po yung mga binabayaran nating landing and take-off fees ng mga airlines. So almost 50% po yung binawas namin dyan, or almost 5,000 pesos. Para naman po sa passenger service charges, ito naman po ay binabayaran ng ating mga kababayan or yung mga passengers. For international flight po, for international flight or international airport na may international flight po, no, from 900 naging 700 na lang po ito. Sa international airport naman na may domestic flight, from 350 ay naging 150 to 200 pesos na lang po ito. Para naman sa principal class 1 na airport, from 300 naging 150 to 200 pesos yung babayaran. Para naman po sa principal class 2 airport, 100 pesos na lang po yan. At ang community airports naman po natin ay 50 pesos na lang ang babayaran po passenger service charges ng ating mga kababayan. So almost 50% din po yung binawas po natin dyan.
Okay. And these are 50% of the fees that ako as a passenger would pay normally to CAAP. Okay. Hanggang kailan po yan?
Actually, ang napag-usapan po namin sa CAAP is effective po ito from April 1 today until 3 months po. Pero we will play by ear kung kailangan pa ba itong i-extend. Depende po din sa magiging directive ng national government.
Alright, so directive to ng government for 3 months. Meanwhile, today, April 1, is the beginning, tama ba, of the fuel surcharge to rise to level 8. Is that correct? Can you explain how much po yung mababurden dun sa mga pasahero because of this until surcharge number 8?
Actually, the fuel charges po, it is under the Civil Aeronautical Board or yung CAB po. So kasi po sila yung may hawak ng airport operations, which sila nga po yung nag-approve nito. Sa amin po kasi sa CAAP, ang hawak po namin is yung airport operations po. Which is yun nga po, nasabi ko na nga po, yung mga binawas po namin charges.
Okay, so medyo we have to balance out the charges, but at least you have this, no? Tell us, ma'am, how prepared are the airports to handle the volume of passengers? You mentioned already that there's people no leave policy. But still, with all of these people flocking in, is this something that meron bang extra people on the ground, extra security dahil Holy Week, or just business as usual?
Actually, itong mga pagdagsa ng mga tao during this season, Semana Santa, Inundas, hindi na bago sa atin to. Talagang ine-expect na natin to yearly. Kasi nga yearly din, ay tumataas din naman talaga yung numbers ng mga passenger natin. So kami naman po sa Kaap na paghandaan na po namin to. So meron nga pong increased volume ng mga personnel on the ground, and also we are nakipag-coordinate na po kami sa PNP and Office of Transportation Security. So makikita nyo din na meron na pong increase ng security on the ground din po. And also, meron din po kami mga help desk sa mga airport para po madaling makita ng mga passengers kung kanino ba sila hihingi ng tulong kung meron po silang mga concerns. So, everything is settled na po. Lahat na po yan ay pinapatupad na po natin since March 28 po.
I'm sure, ma'am, you're talking with our airlines, local airlines, Cebu Pacific, PAL, but also other airlines. Na-solve na po ba yung issue ng grounding of planes? Nag-cut po ng flights dahil sa refueling issue? Solve na ba po yan? Are there more flights that are being put back?
The grounding of planes po, ito po ay possibility pa lamang po as of the moment, as wala pa naman po tayong nakikita na merong mga nagko-coordinate sa ating mga airlines na gano'n na nga po yung gagawin nila. Karamihan sa nakita nating announcement ng mga airlines ay nagbabawas lang po sila ng kanilang mga flights, no? So may mga flights sila na international flights na tinanggal na nila as of the moment, and also nagbawas sila ng mga local flights nila. So ito yung mga nakikita nating paraan ng mga airlines para makatipid sila ng fuel po. Pero yung grounding po, it is a possibility pero hindi pa po tayo nandyan po. So, continuous coordination lang po yung ginagawa natin sa kanila kung kakailanganin po nila ng ganung measure para nga po mas lalo pa silang makatipid ng fuel po.
And you mentioned po, Kaap has mentioned, they're assuring the public that airports have enough backup fuel in case of power interruptions. Can you give us more details on that?
Yes po, no. Enough po yung mga reserve namin sa mga airports kasi nga even without this fuel crisis po, talagang hinahanda namin yung mga fuel namin kasi one of our priority is dapat magtuloy-tuloy yung airport operation. So meron na po kaming mga stocks even before pa na hindi naman namin talaga nagagamit masyado dahil wala naman kaming problema in terms of electricity, no. So ngayon po, ayun din po ay dinoble na po namin ngayon. So we have enough stock po para magtuloy-tuloy po ang ating mga airport operations po.
All right. You mentioned that, no. Any flight disruptions that you are expecting in the coming weeks?
So far po, aside dun sa mga naging announcement or advance announcement ng ating mga airports na binawasan nga nila ng flights, so far wala naman po kaming nare-receive pa.
Okay. Ma'am, may isa lang akong as a personal traveler, no? Ano pong nangyayari sa travel tax? Under ba sa Kaap yun?
No po, under po siya ng PEZA or ng Department of Tourism po.
And meron po ba kayong discussions about how to speed up, 'di ba? Kasi that's been in the Congress for quite some time. Alam ko it was a measure in the 70s or something na nilagay para to lessen the people traveling abroad, and then nandyan pa rin medyo burden siya sa customers. Anything that you know about the travel tax suspension or taking out the travel tax?
Well, actually, as far as I know po, the Department of Transportation, which is kami po ay attached agency nila, ay nakikipag-coordinate din po sa national government talaga regarding this travel tax nga po. And I'm pretty sure in the coming months po, magkakaroon naman po ng announcement regarding dito po.
In the coming months, talaga ba? Sana,
I think so.
sana mangyari kasi
so,
we need it now di ba?
It's in the Senate na naman po in Congress, so we'll just have to wait po. But I'm pretty sure the Department of Transportation is actually coordinating with this po.
All right, that would be a really good help also for our travelers, no? Another final question, ma'am. The government, or at least the president, has mandated the government offices to save fuel, to save electricity, maraming work from home. How is that possible in the context of airports? Meron bang cost-cutting measures? How can we save electricity kung airport ka nga?
Well, actually sa airport po, as much as possible, ang ginagawa talaga namin ay dahil hindi nga namin pwedeng i-cut yung mga electricity namin or hindi kami pwedeng magbawas dahil meron nga
Correct.
kaming
Mahirap. Walang pwedeng
mandatos,
mag-work
diba?
from
For
home
airport
dyan.
operation. Kami po mismo sa CAAP, sa office po namin, sa central office po sa CAAP, nagbawas po kami, nagtitipid po talaga kami. So, pinapatupad na din po namin yung four-day work week. So, pag Friday po, every
Okay.
Friday, naka-work from home na din po kami. And also, meron din po kaming policy na pag lunch break, dapat nakapatay yung mga ilaw. So may mga ganung measures na din po kaming pinapatupad sa mismong office namin para kahit pa paano makatipid kami dahil nga yung mga airport namin ay hindi namin pwedeng i-sacrifice dahil comfort naman ng ng public yung masasakripisyo if ginawa namin yun sa airport. So kami po ang mga empleyado ang nagsasakripisyo na din po. Opo.
Tsaka important pa rin for our mga kababayans to be able to travel home to their families, no? Even despite these trying times. Baka medyo mahirap na yung travels abroad ngayon, pero at least to be able to see their families domestically, that's very important. Maraming salamat ka, Public Information Officer Ms. Bea Bernardo. Still on travel, long lines and heavier foot traffic are now expected at the country's main gateway, the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And we go live now to NAIA with Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos. Arles, kamusta naman dyan? Marami bang nagta-travel pa rin despite ang mahal mag-travel ngayon? Marami pa rin pumupuntang probinsya.
Dani, tuloy-tuloy nga yung pagdating ng mga kapatid nating lilipad, pauwi sa kanilang mga probinsya. At yung iba naman ay pabalik ng bansa ngayong Holy Week season kung saan nga inaasahan ng Ninoy Aquino International Airport na papalo ng 1.35 billion ang kanilang mga pasahero para sa pagsisimula hanggang pagtatapos ng Holy Week, at yung inaasahan na buhos ng tao kada araw ay papalo nga sa 143,000 na mga individual, At kanina sa pag-iikot natin doon sa departure area, maagang nagsidating yung ating mga kapatid na yung iba palabas ng bansa para magbakasyon, and then yung iba naman ay dito sa arrival kung nasan tayo ngayon ay pabalik lamang. Kanina mas madaming tao dito actually sa bahagi na ito ng NAIA, pero ngayon mas kumunti-kaunti na, siguro dahil nakalabas na rin ang lahat at wala pang panibagong eroplano na lumalapag dito. Pero alam mo Dani, doon sa number at bugso ng mga pasahero na pumupunta dito, talaga nakita na natin yan noong Palm Sunday pa lamang, March 28, kung saan 154,000 ang lumapag dito sa NAIA at umalis, para sa international domestic flights yan, 5.1% na mas mataas kumpara sa kaparehas na panahon noong April 14, 2025. At patuloy, naasahan natin na kaparehas ang sitwasyon yan sa paparating na mga araw.
Arles, curious lang ako, may nakausap ka ba those that come from international destinations coming home to the Philippines for Holy Week? Kung nahirapan ba sila dahil sa sitwasyon ngayon? Of course, hindi ka makakalipad sa airspace doon sa Middle East, kung at least yan yung pathway. Nahirapan ba sila? They had to cancel flights? They had to change flights? What's the situation?
Dani, at least doon sa mga kapatid nating OFW na papunta ng Middle East countries, wala pa tayo nakakausap sa kanila na nandito mismo kasi the last time we checked, mayroong mga airlines na kung saan yung mga airspaces sa kanilang host countries ay sarado pa rin talaga, So hindi pa rin sila nakakalipad at makakalipad doon. Pero titignan natin kung meron nga bang yung in a way, yung parang shortcut o medyo pipihit ng ikot para makapasok ng Middle East. Pero sa ngayon, wala pa tayong ganyan. Pero Dani, isa siguro sa mga striking dito ay yung mas bababa na ticket na nabili ng ating mga kapatid dahil bago pa man daw yung Holy Week season ay nagsibili na sila ng kanilang mga ticket. So yung iba medyo hindi nararamdaman yung mahala ng yung itinaas ng ticket ng plane tickets ngayon, at then syempre yung pagsipa din na nito bunsod ng fuel or jet fuels, na ngayon nga sabi ng NAIA meron naman silang sapat dito na stock para dito, kaya hindi maapektuhan ng ganun at kabilis yung ating mga kapatid na lilipad.
Do you see po na lesser yung flights? Kasi diba nag-announce yung Cebu Pacific, yung PAL, that they're canceling specific international destinations. Is there any impact that you can feel because of this?
At least, Dani, doon sa mga nakausap natin dito sa departure area, no, yung ilan sa kanila naging strategic na talaga dahil magbabakasyon, iniwasan na nila yung mga bansa na merong conflict. Mas may iba, focus talaga sila sa Southeast Asia countries, no, kasi mas mura daw talaga at mas malapit, and yung iba, limited or constraint yung oras at panahon para makapagbakasyon. Kaya yun na lang yung kanilang mga pinili. No? May mga papunta ng China, may mga papunta ng Macau, pero less talaga, no, yung, or halos wala pa nga, tayo nakakausap na papunta ng Middle East na sarado yung airspaces, no? And syempre, matagal-tagal daw nila ito pinag-ipunan, yung bakasyon, at para nga ma-enjoy ito, so yun, tinake na daw nila agad yung opportunity nung nakabili ng mas mababa na plane ticket papunta sa Southeast Asian countries.
Arles, marami ba bang tourists dyan? Or mainly ba OFWs na bumabalik? And of course, people flying to their home provinces. Pero meron pa bang tourists na pumapasok?
Meron pa rin, Dani, kanina, kahit actually dito lang sa may gilid natin, merong dito tayo mga kasama ng kapatid, mga turista din, no? And I think this is, kumukuha sila ng SIM card for their local travel, and then doon naman sa kabilang banda, doon kasi may money changer, and then meron din doon mga ride-hailing applications and transport network vehicle services na posts, no? So nakikita natin, meron pa rin naman talaga na dumarating dito from outside the country.
All right. Well, that's nice because Holy Week is a nice time to be visiting our country. Of course, maraming salamat, Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos over at NAIA. And stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back after this short break. As we know, Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation, or MPTC, is implementing a toll rebate program to help ease the burden on the transport sector amid rising fuel costs. The NLEX Kabiyahe initiative runs from March 23rd to May 22nd and covers accredited Class 2 public utility buses, modernized jeepneys, and Class 3 vehicles. Qualified operators may receive rebates ranging from 12 pesos to 88 pesos per trip, depending on vehicle type and entry and exit points. MPTC says the program aims to help stabilize transport costs, support the movement of essential goods, and sustain economic activity. Now, to qualify, operators must maintain an active Easy Trip account and must not be enrolled in other toll discount programs. Joining us this morning is Robin Ignacio. He's the Assistant Vice President for Traffic Operations over at NLEX. Good morning, sir.
Good morning po, and good morning also to our televiewers.
Sir Robin, give us an idea of how exactly does this work? For whom is it targeted? You have Class 3 vehicles also. Does that cover TNVS also? How much do drivers expect to get back? And will they get that back in their RFID? Paano ba po yun?
Yes, actually we implemented the Kabiyaheng toll rebate program starting last March 23, and this will be for a period of 2 months, so it will be up to until May 22. And Class 3 vehicles with valid RFID and sufficient load, they are automatically eligible. I mean, they are automatically part of the program. While for Class 2 vehicles or our public utility vehicles, including yung modernized jeepneys, they need to download the form, the Kabiyahe form, and fill it out from our Facebook page, NLEX Corporation, and together with the requirement like the copy of the ORCR, the certificate from LTFRB, and a government ID of the operator, then they just need to email it to customercare@mptc.com.ph, and then they should also have a valid RFID and sufficient load, and then the rebate will be credited to their RFID account on a weekly basis. Actually, for the first crediting of rebate, it will be tomorrow. Crediting will be every Thursday po.
Okay, understood. So since March 23rd po, just to clarify, the first crediting will be tomorrow pa po?
That's right, ma'am. Tomorrow.
Okay. How many transport operators or vehicles are you expecting to benefit from this program, sir?
I don't have the exact figure, but for Class 3 alone, I think it's between 5 to 7% of our traffic. So, 5
Okay.
to 7% of 350,000, that's more than 30,000, if I am right, no? Plus, the public utility vehicles. So, medyo marami-rami din po yung makaka-avail. And also, yung amount din, the rebate actually is the difference in the amount between the new toll rate and the toll rate before we increase. I mean, from the last time we increased. For NLEX, the increase was done last January. So, between 12 pesos to 72 or 88 pesos, depending on the class of the vehicle and, of course, entry and exit of the vehicle.
Okay. And sir, any plans to extend, so until May 22, no, the 2 months, is there any
Yes po.
plans to extend that? And if so, what would be the criteria to extend this rebate program, sir?
Yeah, I think that matter will be again discussed between our group, MPTC group with TRB. But for the 2 month implementation, it will go whether the oil will go down or increase further. So it's a guaranteed 2 months implementation, and maybe just before this May 22 ends, there will be again discussion if there will be further implementation on this.
Okay. Sir, I understand your for NLEX, but any understanding if this could be implemented, or is this going on in other toll roads, sir?
Yes, for Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation, NLEX is included, SCTEX, and Cavitex R1 and R1 extension. And I also heard it's also implemented by some toll roads of San Miguel Corporation.
Sir, so same amount po yung rebates regardless of the toll? Well, I mean, more or less?
I think for MPTC alone, MPTC group alone, I think it will be of a different value because we have different rates
Pricing.
in
Okay.
toll. Yes.
Okay. Ako as a private citizen, no, meron bang benefits ba for private citizens? Alam ko in Congress they're pushing to have some toll discounts
Yeah,
for private drivers. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. As of now, for private vehicles, wala pa po tayong program to this effect. For public transport lang po yung and we hope this can be of big help dun sa public transportation po natin. So we'll wait if there will be programs for Class 1 po in the coming months or in the coming days. Wala pa po ngayon.
Okay. Pero open po ba yung MPTC to help out the private citizens?
Siguro, ma'am, I'm not sure. I'm not in a position siguro to know kasi nasa taas kasi tinitingnan din, of course, yung capability of the group to implement such thing.
I guess just on that, can we expect no increases in the toll for the foreseeable future?
Ang increase naman ng toll is a periodic review. Every 2 years actually yung review.
Okay.
And it happens also in the past adjustments na for the 2-period review, kung medyo malaki po yung expected na pagtaas, it is being divided into tranches. So,
Okay.
Parang inuunti-unti pong implement. So, for that question po, ma'am, I think every 2 years po yung review with the TRB.
Okay. Let's talk po about the traffic in NLEX. Have you observed any decrease in motorists or vehicles in the expressway so far since the prices in fuel started to increase?
Exactly, ma'am. From the time that the fuel prices already soared, we already monitored a decrease, continuously decreasing po yung volume of traffic po natin. That's why this Holy Week, the normally previous years that we are expecting or monitoring increase by 8 to 10%, this time we are already projecting that it will still increase from the normal daily average, but a maximum of 3% in expect po namin.
Okay, just for this week. But on a normal basis, sir, ano po yung decrease ng...
A normal day, we're monitoring between 7 to 8% yung decrease po for any
decrease?
corporation.
Okay.
Opo.
Regardless of the time kung ano po, peak hours or
That's already a
rush
normal
hour.
daily average.
That's
po.
a normal
Opo.
daily average. Okay, very interesting,
Yes.
no? All right.
Yes.
Any plans for the preparations during the increased traffic this Holy Week, sir? Anything that you're preparing for?
Yes, ma'am. We still prepare just the usual Holy Week preparation namin previous years, even if we know very well that the volume will go down. Starting actually last Friday, there is no more road work, so all lanes are already open, and this will be up to April 6th, that's Easter Monday. And also our deployment of personnel, we already increased starting Friday last week, March 27 up to April 6 also. And we also implemented a free towing for class 1 to the nearest exit again for us to clear incident faster so that they will not affect the traffic that much.
All right. Thank you, sir, for those updates. Robin Ignacio, Assistant Vice President for Traffic
Thank you
Operations
very much,
over
po.
at
Good morning.
NLEX. Good morning, sir. And still on traffic is expected to build up along major expressways. That's as motorists head out of Metro Manila for the Holy Week break. We go live now to NLEX itself with Mobile Journal Francis Rivera. Francis, kakakausap lang namin sa NLEX. Kamusta dyan ang traffic? Dapat ba increase of 3% daw during this Holy Week?
Yes, Dani, kitang-kita naman natin yung sinasabi ni Sir Robin na decrease na 3% sa daily average nila or dun sa previous years, no? Kasi kita naman natin na Wednesday ngayon at alam naman natin na half day pero ang sabi nga nila mas inaasahan pa nila na titignan pa nila, inoobserbahan pa nila kung tataas pa yung bilang o kakapal pa yung volume ng mga sasakyan na dadaan dito sa NLEX pamayang hapon since half day na lang din yung mga pasok, no, karamihan. So pero dito sa mga oras na to, Dani, ito yung sitwasyon talagang smooth pa rin at tuloy-tuloy, kakaunti pa lamang yung mga sasakyan at bahagya lamang nagkakaroon ng build up ng linya or ng linya doon sa mga naka-cash lane. So well, the usual naman. So kita naman natin yung difference from yung doon sa may kabila, yung mga naka-RFID. Pero isa doon sa napansin natin, no, from yesterday at ngayon, mas marami yung nagpapakabit ngayon ng RFID dito ng ganitong oras. So may marami pa rin tayong mga kapatid na humahabol na magpakabit kasi actually kinausap natin isa sa kanila kanina, no, na mas sulit naman daw na magpakabit ngayon dahil nga unified na siya, maaari na rin siyang gamitin sa South or sa FLEX at tinanong nga rin natin kung hindi ba sila nabibigatan sa presyo ng gasolina. Mabigat daw talaga pero factor din kasi na marami silang kasamang bata at yung mga gamit daw talaga nila kaya mahirap dalhin pag nag-commute daw sila kaya no choice, talagang magdadala sila ng sarili nilang sasakyan. So Dani, ito yung sitwasyon dito ngayon sa NLEX Balintawak Toll Plaza.
All right. Just to clarify no, for our audience here, sabi ni Sir Robin, 3% increase ng ang vehicles instead of 8 to 10% usually yung increase during Holy Week. So mag-increase pa yan. So stay there. But of course, maya-maya pa yan. Maraming salamat, Mobile Journal Francis Rivera. And let's head on over to the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange or PTEX. We've got with us Evan Tarinque on the ground. Kamusta na dyan, Evan? It's Wednesday and half day. Marami na ba? Much more ba than yesterday?
Alam mo, Dani, expected niya na kahapon and today, mag-peak yung volume ng mga pasahero dito nga sa PITX. So, estimated nga raw, ang projection ng terminal officials ay aabot sa 200,000 yung mga pasahero ngayong araw. Pero so far, ito makikita nyo sa aking likuran, nagkakaroon na ng konting build-up yung mga kapatid natin na papasok ng loob ng terminal. Ito makikita natin, medyo humahaba na yung pila. Pero syempre, bago sila makapasok ng terminal, kailangan nilang pumasok at dumaan sa mga ating security personnel dito. Pero Dani, kanina, in terms of security, nagkalat na rin naman kasi yung mga police assistance desk dito sa loob ng terminal. Bukod nga dyan, meron mga medical table din na pwedeng lapitan yung mga kapatid natin na nangangailangan ng agarang tulong. Pero kaninang umaga, nag-ikot na rin dito si NCRP Original Director Police Major Anthony Aberin para nga assess o yung sitwasyon dito sa loob ng terminal. And according sa kanya, so far so good at wala pa naman monitor na any threats dito sa terminal at sa ibang mga lugar dito sa ating sa Metro Manila, no? Pero kasabay nga niyan, syempre yung mga pasaway nating mga pasahero na kahit na paulit-ulit silang pinagsasabihan na bawal magdala ng mga flammable materials at mga matutulis sa bagay, marami pa rin talaga yung mga pasaway at hindi nakikinig na nagdadala nito dito sa loob ng terminal. So far, yung pinakahuling bilang na nakuha natin dyan is nasa 600 na yung mga na-confiscate na mga yan. Ito actually malapit tayo doon sa confiscation na box, no? Pakita lang natin konti. Okay. Yung confiscation box, ito. Pakita natin. So ito yung confiscation box, Dani, pakita lang natin. Ito, ma'am, pakita lang namin yung laman, ha? Ito, ayan. Kadalasan, ito talaga yung mga nakukuha dito, yung mga flammable materials, gaya ng mga lighter, meron pang butane, no? At siyempre yung mga sharp objects, gaya nga nitong cutter na iyan. So, Dani, yan paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng mga terminal officials na magdala yung mga yan dahil mga ipinagbabawal nga po yan dito. Dani?
Para palang lilipad ng airplane ng kahigipitan dyan, no? Hindi ko alam yan actually na, what if naninigarilyo ka, bawal magdala ng, ng lighter, ganon? Ganun pala yun, Okay, but at least yung liquids, pwede naman, hindi naman katulad ng airplane. One more question, no? You were saying yesterday and the day before na maraming nagko-complain na fully booked, parate ang mga bus, hindi enough. Meron na bang additional bus trips?
Yes, Dani, no, magandang tanong yan. No? Kanina nga nakuha natin yung latest na data. No? So for today, around 60% ng mga additional or yung fully booked lang yung mga bus the trips.
Okay.
No? So marami pa rin yung mga kapatid natin na makakabili, makakapag-walk-in pa naman. No? Pero syempre yun nga, no? Expected na raw na since last day na nung may pasok at yung karamihan yung mga ilang opisina ay half day, mas marami na raw pagdating ng hapon. Kaya naman, pinapayuhan sila na magdala ng konting pasensya at dahil, yun nga, makakapag-antay sila or kailangan nila mag-antay ng medyo matagal-tagal. Dani.
Alright, thank you for those updates, mobile journalist Evan Taringa. And don't go away, more matters to discuss after this short break. Keep it here on One News. Let's head on over to the beautiful Manila Cathedral in Intramuros. We have with us mobile journalist Daniel Dayo on the ground with the latest updates. What is happening there? Marami na bang nagsisimba dyan, Daniel?
Good morning, Dani. Just a day before the most significant observances of Holy Week, some of our Catholic kapatid devotees are flocking here or going here in Manila Cathedral for their Visita Iglesia. So as you can see from behind me, hindi pa masyadong marami yung tao. But what I've observed here is that known talaga ang Manila Cathedral for their Stations of the Cross. So from my right, dito ang Stations 1 to Station 7, and on my left naman ay Stations 8 to 14. So aside from that, Danny, I actually talked to some of the parish goers here, and ang sabi nila ay talagang naging tradisyon na nila ang pagbisita iglesia. But as of now, they are trying to cut costs, especially with the rising fuel price, no? So what they are doing is that since taga dito lang sila sa Manila, they're just going here around Manila or Intramuros. Since aside from Manila Cathedral, marami pa tayong churches here, and they can actually go to different churches such as San Agustin and more. And aside from that, Danny, I actually talked to the parish head, and expected naman daw talaga na hindi pa ganun kadami yung tao because for now, ang mass lang today ay 7:45 a.m. and 12:10 p.m. But tomorrow is a big day for Manila Cathedral because aside from Holy Thursday is that meron tayong Chrism Mass which will start at 6 a.m. So pakita ko lang sa'yo, dito sa akin likod ay they are actually preparing na the big screens outside because it's expected for tomorrow to actually it's expected for tomorrow to actually a lot of people or devotees come here and fill the Manila Cathedral. So as you can tell naman sa likod ko, no, merong mga securities flopping here, and outside them meron naman securities from Intramuros administrations, no. And Dani, aside from that, meron din confessions available here in Manila Cathedral. And apart from that, Dani, talaga namang inaanyayahan yung mga kapatid nating Katoliko to go here and to reflect, especially with the Holy Week happening here in the country. Dani.
Absolutely. Beautiful time or opportunity to explore our historic churches. Thank you so much, Mobile Journal Daniel Dayaw. Amid soaring fuel prices, commuters and drivers in Manila are getting much-needed relief through the city's Libreng Sakay program. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos reports for us.
I went around Manila on Tuesday, day 2 of the city's Libreng Sakay program. So far, more than 232,000 commuters have been served by 22 jeepney operators and Drivers Association or JODA. Commuters are just grateful. This is more than a drop in the bucket. Stephanie, a graduating student, even had to borrow money today for her expenses.
So actually, parang mas naging convenient din siya sa amin, hindi ko in-expect. Ano na, pecha de peligro. So basically, ayan, kahit paano yung pandagdag sa pangkain, din sa panggastos ko. Ayun.
Save fare from the free rides program will go to other daily expenses. And now, commuters wish this is not just a one-off relief.
Malaking bagay dahil nabas-bawas ang mga gastusin na sa mga bata, sa pag-aaral ng bata, naidagdag. Dapat nga isang buwan malaking tipid.
Sobrang laki po kasi para po mabawasan yung mga binabayaran na bills, mga kuryente, yan, yung sa tubig po. As a commuter po, minsan po ang ginagawa ko ay dinadagdagan ko na lang po at hindi na po ako humingi ng sukle, ganyan. Binibigay ko na lang po din sa kanila para tulong na lang din po.
It is also a reprieve for local drivers hurting from unabated oil price increases, with their fuel of choice, diesel, now close to 150 pesos a liter. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso has announced an additional 500 pesos daily for them while the Libreng Sakay is in effect. The take-home pay for drivers now, 3,500 pesos.
Nasa krisis tayo. At the end of the day, tayong mga tagalungsod ng Maynila ang magkikita-kita rin sa finance. Kahit dito man lamang sa ating lungsod, dito man lang, out of 1,600 LGU sa buong Pilipinas, dito man lamang yung mga mamamayan na sasakupan natin, na pinaglilingkuran natin, makaramdam na konting ginhawa, maibsan yung kinakaharap nating lahat sa krisis.
Like commuters, jeepney drivers are thankful for the reprieve, even if for a while.
Siyempre, hindi kami ganun pagod. Nakakatipid kami sa diesel. Meron lang kaming 5 ikot. Kalimitan, 10 ikot kami. Ang kakainin na diesel, abutin ng 2,000 hanggang 2,500. Ngayon, medyo 1,000 lang. May maiuwi ka, hindi katulad nung bumabiyahe kami, wala.
Kahit pa paano, pangalawang araw ngayon, okay din, kaya lang, mga susunod na araw wala na. Ngayon, yung kikitain namin, mapupunta rin sa bigas din yan . Hindi na, parang gusto namin bumaba na yung diesel para maging normal lahat yung biyahe na.
With 1,442 deployed drivers across the city, the Manila LGU assured that the program will continue to be monitored and improve better to serve both commuters and transport workers. Manila Transport and Parking Bureau or MTPB employees are strictly monitoring these rides to ensure no one is taking advantage of the program. Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you just the right start to your morning. Let's make the day matter. Enjoy the rest of your Holy Week. I'm Dani Laurel. Kapatid, we are One News. All sides, all the time.